Hey there, I'm Jen, and I know what guys like. Buckle up because I'm bringing you the hottest, fastest, and all-around badass toys for big boys. Come on, let's have some fun. Hey fellas, welcome back to a brand new season of Boys Toys. This show is dedicated to showing you the most ferocious machines that the world has to offer. And this time around is no exception. We're at the Festivals of Speed in Orlando, Florida. Now, if you've never heard of this event, well then shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. But this 3-day event is the destination for fulfilling all of your thrill-seeking and luxury living fantasies. If you have a passion for fast things and you like first-class parties, well then this is the event for you. And as always, we'll set out on our mission to find out which is the ultimate boys toy. I'll show you the best in performance, design, and everything in between. And by the end, I'll crown who's king amongst the boys. Are you ready for your exclusive VIP pass into the Festivals of Speed? Well then get ready because day one, or shall I say night one, kicks things off with a bang. Welcome to the Jetport reception. Staged inside of an actual airport hangar, the Jetport reception allows guests to enjoy a taste of the fabulous life. From antique aircrafts to exotic cars, this prolific party is the epitome of a life well lived. And our first company that mirrors that same motto is ExecuJet.
ExecuJet Charter Service is the all-in-one private travel company. We do everything from flying, operating, owning, buying, selling, and chartering. We do it all with a private jet.
Stress-free flying? Sign me up. Now, if you're wondering what kind of planes they're working with, well, ExecuJet can hook you up with everything from a small light plane to a heavy.
An 8-passenger aircraft to a 13 or more passenger aircraft, depending on what you're looking for.
Take the Falcon 900B behind me for starters. This top-notch flyer is international, with a cruising speed of around 466 knots, about 536 miles per hour, and can easily go from this party to continuing the party in Europe non-stop with no problem at all.
Comes with 2 pilots and a flight attendant that take care of you from point A to point B. We really sell the experience of the company.
And selling the experience of a company will no doubt be less expensive than buying the real deal. The price for a used Dassault Falcon typically runs around $11 million. But if you don't have the time or money for a year-round bird, ExecuJet lets you save money without skimping on the pampering.
To do charter, this jet behind us is $5,000 an hour, first class. I mean, it's above first class. There's really no definition of what it really is. It's an experience.
An experience that I may just have to try out when I head home after the festival. Coming up on Boys Toys. Private jets were only a taste of what we have in store. Wait till you see what's coming up at day 2 of the Festivals of Speed. If you like fast boats and even faster cars, then do I have a treat for you when we return. It's day 2 at the Festivals of Speed, and I'm ready for even more action. First up on my list is a supercar that leaves its competitors in the dust. Tell us about your baby you have here today.
It's a 2012 McLaren MP4 12C. The McLaren name is known for its history in Formula One racing. Like Ferrari, it has done really well over the years.
Were you always a McLaren fan specifically?
No, I wasn't a big McLaren fan, just always a car guy, and I saw it at a show one night. And of course, I know the McLaren name and the brand and the history, and I liked it. And a year later, when it was no longer a prototype and I could buy one, I went and bought one.
And
I bought 2 actually.
Oh, you bought 2. So you're sold. You're in the McLaren family now. That's not just one, but two MP412Cs, a rear-wheel two-seater coupe that is the first production car that was designed and built entirely by McLaren since the F1. And this race-worthy ride not only features a carbon fiber composite base to keep it light, but it also boasts a mid-mounted 3.8-liter V8 twin-turbo engine that makes it oh so fast.
This has 592 horsepower. We'll have an additional 25 shortly when they do a software upgrade. And it has a rated top speed of 205.
Watch out, world, that's 616 horsepower and 0 to 60 in only 3.1 seconds. Once he goes in for a software upgrade, that is. And to give you a comparison, that's 46 more horses than the Ferrari 458 Italia's impressive 570. How do people react when they see your car?
They're pretty amazed. They don't know what it is. They look at it, they take pictures of it. I've had people get out at traffic lights and knock on my windshield and say, "Do you mind if we take pictures of your car?"
All right, if you want a traffic-stopping car like the new McLaren MP412C you see here, well, the base price comes in at $229,000 big ones. The next fast machines making their mark on the automotive world is this pimped-out Porsche and this tricked-out T-Rex. And if you're wondering what the common thread between these two dynamo drivers is, well, let me introduce to you the founder of Annabelle Automotives. He likes to think of his creations as automotive art. Unlike the other guys out there that want to add on aftermarket details that weigh a car down, his cars cut out the junk.
I love Porsche, so I decided to go with Porsche cars. And I start with those here. This one is a Cayman. And I do it the same body kit. I can do it on the Boxer too. I take off all the old panels from the car, the stock car, and I replace them so there's no extra weight on the car. I try to do the maximum possible to get it perfectly done. You know, all the point, I check all the point, the aerodynamic, everything.
The kit fitted to the Porsche Cayman uses carbon fiber on most of its car with blackout wheels and rims to complement paint details on the body.
There is engineer in the company. There's all the design are done. Everything is done by computer. So it's not handmade all the time. It's really done perfectly.
And when it comes to performance upgrades offered, these cars don't just look impressive on the outside. Their internal upgrades are something to mention also.
Whatever performance options there it could be. Suspension, brakes, the Cayman, I can push it to 550 horsepower.
That's 230 more horses than the standard Cayman model. And which is kind of funny to say because there's nothing really standard about the Porsche to begin with. So just imagine all that extra power you get to play with. Okay, now for the big question. What's the price for Annabelle's automotive art? Just the bodywork and paint alone will cost you $35,000 plus the price of the car. And of course, more for additional upgrades. Now from Porsche to a different kind of monstrosity. Check out his other kind of ferocious design, the Aero 3S.
It's the Aero, it's like, you know, it's aerodynamic. 3S is the 3 season. Instead of getting 1 season with it, I have 3 seasons now. You know about Canada weather, it's not Florida. So there's a lot of rainy days. So I say I have to do something with that.
And that something was the creation of this new Predator. Yeah, it has the foundation of a T-Rex trike, but this beefier model makes any ordinary T-Rex look wimpy.
I put like a couple of videos on YouTube. I had a lot of crazy people loving it. This one, I did it by hand. It wasn't computerized because I did it for me. It wasn't a project to do business with that.
The new Cruiser offers 80% new paneling. Another facelift to the T-Rex were the additional entry areas for air. These vents were added not only to help in defrosting the windows, but they're even used to cool the engine in the back. The fenders were constructed to create more downforce and stability, making this beast even more aerodynamic and safe during top speeds. Festival's Aero 3S. The price varies between $85K and $115,000. Coming up on Boys Toys, we've only just gotten our feet wet at the Festivals of Speed. When we return, we're diving in head first and checking out the most extreme and innovative toys at the party. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to Boys Toys. We're in Tampa at the Festivals of Speed. Not only will this 3-day event have you seeing exotic sports cars and many other Ultimate Guys toys, but this premiere party is the event for fulfilling all of your thrill-seeking fantasies. So of course, we're right in the middle of the action, getting you the scoop on all of these one-of-a-kind machines. So far, we've seen the highlights of the Jetport reception and gotten a chance to drive some really fast cars. To kickstart the final day of the big show, take a look at what Team Steam is bringing to the table.
This is actually our brand new Streamliner. This is the Team Steam USA Streamliner, and it is powered by a very, very unique steam engine.
A Streamliner is a long, slender, custom-built, high-speed vehicle. Used primarily in land speed racing, Nelson says his new auto is powered by a brand new technology.
Okay, so now a lot of people, when they think of steam technology, they think of the old locomotives from back in the day. How have you guys changed your technology with time?
It's so interesting. A company called Cyclone Power Technology, which they actually invented and created this brand new steam engine. It's a very small, compact, it's only 2 feet by 2 feet. It has a condenser on the bottom that holds the water, and it has a combustor on the top of it that actually heats the water and turns it to steam.
And where might this new steam-powered Streamliner design be used?
What are your guys' long-term goals? I mean, you sort of touched on it, but you really hope to bring this technology into exotic cars and the automotive industry.
Yes, travel across the country to all the engineering schools, the high schools, the technical schools, show our technology, and ultimately transition this technology into an exotic car or into a sports car.
And that's exactly why it's an interesting new favorite at the Festivals of Speed. Just imagine if your favorite Lamborghini ran on steam technology in the future.
What do you think, potentially, is the top speed this machine could go?
We actually built the car to specifically go after the U.S. steam record, which unfortunately currently is held by the British. We are targeting 250 miles an hour with this machine. I realistically think we can probably be closer to the 300-mile-an-hour zone. So we're going to bring that steam record back to the U.S.
Now, if you wanted to build your own Streamliner, this one-of-a-kind speedster is $500,000. Our next arousing auto at the Festivals of Speed is a car that's been #1 in a lot of guys' hearts. Feast your eyes on this mint condition, gorgeous 57 Cadillac.
1957 VIN code 5 zeros and a 1 that was put out by Cadillac. It's got the original engine, VIN code 01, and the chassis is 01, and the body is 01.
That's Jim, owner of this beautiful classic, and the guy who gave this symbol of yesteryear a second chance.
We purchased this car a little over 2 years ago in Chicago. It was all disassembled, and we picked it up, and it took 2 trailer loads of parts to bring it back to Minnesota. And we started the restoration, and like I say, we went all around the country looking at supposedly the best of the best so we could put this car together right. And we took the best of all the cars and put it into this car and made it the perfect car as it is.
Okay, so maybe you're not too familiar with the classics and are wondering why this Eldorado is so special. Well, the fact is, the name literally translates into the golden one. And Cadillac, 60 years ago, much like it still is today, was and still is a force to be reckoned with.
Cadillac has always been the top of GM's line. I mean, you mention any GM cars, and the top shelf is always a Cadillac. Everybody wants a Cadillac, you know, and especially from 57s and 8s, and you know, and back then, this car in 57 was around $7,000, which, you know, you had to be somebody to buy this car.
And why was this caddy such a hot seller? Well, the original convertible had the most potent V8 engine offered by Cadillac in its time, and it produced a most impressive 325 horsepower back in 1957. Besides what was under the hood, the exterior aesthetics are quite dramatic also. Painted in an Elysian green and characterized by what was called the chipmunk cheeks, the rear-end design of this flashy cruiser has a fender line that's capped by a pointed inboard fin. Now what's even cooler than having the first one? Well, Jim and his car enthusiast son also have the very last one made.
There was 1,800 of these cars built, and we also have the very last one that we're starting restoration on now, number 1,800.
Wondering how much this exceptional classic is worth? Well, if you peruse the used market today, you would find one for between 100 and 200K. But since this model was the very first and classics tend to appreciate over time, I'm sure it's worth well more than that. Coming up on Boys Toys. They don't call it the Festivals of Speed for nothing. I'm driving this stellar boat faster than I've ever gone before. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to Boys Toys. With my next badass machine, I ended up doing something that would make some people quiver with fear. No, not so fast. Well, it is fast, but we'll get to that. Check out this heart-pounding new watercraft by Statement Marine.
When these boats roll up to any dock anywhere, it stops people on the dock, and they all want to know what it is, how it come, and so on and so on.
Meet the Statement 42 Ultimate. Some are calling it the most advanced V-bottom in the industry. Notice it says by invitation only. Believe me when I say that's not just the paint job talking. To get on board one of these vessels, it's certainly for the select clientele only. If you thought only the car world had exotics, oh no, these are the supers of the water world.
So we've raised the bar of boat building to another level, just as if it was a high-end automobile.
And exactly how did they raise the bar? Well, Statement wants to make sure that each craft is designed with the owner's exact taste in mind.
Most of our customers have already purchased exotic automobiles, so we start to send me photographs, let's look at it. We learn their personal likes and start coming up with different concepts and ideas and artwork, and then it keeps evolving and changing, and it's not a 2-week process.
Their designs are all handcrafted and made first with an attention to detail, and secondly, each boat is then made so that it's different from any other on the planet. I mean, just look at this kick-ass paint scheme for starters.
Well, we start off with, we want to get their 2 or 3 favorite colors. We probably went through between 40 and 50 rendering alterations and twists and so on, and came up with this very unique paint job.
And from there, it's the detailed interiors that take things to another level.
The interior is what grabs you, okay? So we build a boat, we don't have boat interior. It's very boring. What we did is we looked at Bentleys, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, etc., and come up with different looks, touches, and feels.
So whether you want specialty wood grain, suede, leather, single stitch, double stitch, or something a little more exotic perhaps, ostrich, alligator, these guys have you covered. Well, your seat's covered anyway. Besides being killer to look at, their boats excel in other ways also. But for that, I think we'll have to head out to the water to get the full perspective.
What type of performance are these boats capable of doing? I know you said each boat is a little bit different, but this one specifically.
This one specifically has Mercury 1100. It's twin turbo, dual overhead cam, 4-valve per cylinder. Actually, an absolutely ideal motor that Mercury has created for this boat. And the boat will run north of 140 miles an hour.
That's right, I got this baby up to 120 miles per hour. I have to say, that's the fastest I've ever driven a boat. Now, when it comes to how these things ride, it's smooth sailing. If I had to equate these boats to an exotic car, I'd say they are the Bugattis of the beach. I think that it has to do with their one-of-a-kind suspension system.
We have the only boats in the world with active suspension. The whole cockpit that all the passengers ride in, picture that as a bucket or a separate structure that lies within the boat that rides on airbags with shock absorbers. So the ride is absolutely phenomenal.
Phenomenal is right. Oh, and one other quick mention. If you don't want something quite as ultimate as the ultimate, Statement does offer other boats as well. They have a killer catamaran and a center console fishing boat that are just as impressive. All right, enough talk. What's the bottom line for this V-bottom? Well, Statement says that the price depends on the customer, and everything can be negotiated, from engines to how crazy you want your design to be. For instance, a Fab 42 could cost anywhere from the mid-600s all the way up to $1 million. Now for the moment of truth to crown the king of boys' toys, the ultimate classic, exotic, or superboat. I just wanted to decide which is worthy of your time and money. Granted, each machine on the show is worthy in its own right, but I think that there's one that beats out the rest. So what do you think? A little competition? I think so. Let's get to the grading. For this competition, we're scoring in 3 separate categories: performance, X Factor, look and design. Now for the breakdown. For each category, there's a possibility to earn 5 points, for a possible grand total of 15 points. ExecuJet. Forget layovers and baggage fees. This pimped out plane is sure to have you feeling like a king and will have you flying to your next destination in style. Performance 4, X Factor 5, look and design 4, for a total of 13 points out of 15. McLaren. From Formula One to being the envy of all your friends, this super sports car is a dream on the highway. Total of 15 points out of 15. Statement Marine. This boat not only allowed me to beat my own personal speed record on the water, but its design principles certainly make it stand out amongst every other boat out there, for a total of 15 out of 15 points. The Porsche Cayman. Who doesn't love Porsche? And a model of theirs that is lighter and faster? Sign me up. 14 points out of 15. Team Steam. Not only is this streamliner a brand new engine and reinvented technology, but this grand idea might even bring a speed title back to the US, and that's definitely something I support. 14 out of 15 points. 57 Cadillac. This classy convertible is the epitome of an oldie but a goodie. It's not only #1 in construction, but I think the festival goers would agree that it's #1 of the classics. So I'm giving you a total of 14 out of 15 points. The Aero 3S. What's better than a T-Rex street predator that's friendly to use in all sorts of weather? Performance 4, X Factor 5, look and design 5 points, for a total of 14 out of 15 points. Drum roll, please. The ultimate boys' toy is... We have a split decision. McLaren and Statement Marine both tied for first. And since I like both toys so much, I'm going to have to turn to my trusted tiebreaker solver, the coin toss. Heads for Statement Marine and tails for McLaren. Let's see who's gonna win. Looks like it's heads. Statement Marine's the winner. Great. These boats are the true definition of the festivals of speed. They're flashy, fast, and all-around badass. If you're looking for a watercraft that can carry all of your friends in style and that will be zooming past everyone on the lake, well then I say this fresh 42 will certainly make that statement. All right, that's it for this edition of Boys Toys. I'm your host, Jen Barlow. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. If you liked what you saw on this edition of Boys Toys, head to wealthtv.com and decide which toy you'd crown as your ultimate boys toy.